Awesome. I think the red light's on, Ashley. I think we're on
Live.
All right, let's get, I'm just going to prepare
The comment.
so that we know who's coming on tonight. We are tightly late today.
Yes, apologies for that, guys.
Hang on 2 seconds now. Let me see. Hey, Ashley, you good with that? Get us on so we see who is here. Look, guys, we're inviting you guys to our, what do we call this room, Ashley?
Our, I don't know.
A music room. Oh, okay, let me see. Looks like, yeah, and we should come on into what I'm posting right there. We are.
There it is.
Beautiful.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, awesome. So we are in our
front room,
living room,
our music room.
Yes. So
altar.
do you guys like the colors? We decided to change this into the kids' music room.
Mm-hmm.
So this is where they practice the piano, the guitar. Ashley, you haven't done the violin down here yet, have you?
No, I haven't.
Ashley does her practicing in
my room.
her room.
Yeah.
So today we thought, you know what, I hope you guys enjoyed last week's craziness. So this week we thought, you know what, we are going to slow down, calm down, Ash. Mm-hmm. So we're going to have some tea with you guys. We brought some desserts. Let's introduce our desserts. Let's get right into it. We've got an apple cream pie turnover. I don't know what they call it, but it looks delicious, and I love apple and I love cream. So we're going to give it a go.
On this little platter, we have a chocolate hazelnut mousse, delicious. We have a chocolate cream puff or a chocolate
custard. There's custard in there, baby. Yep. And
then we have a lemon curd slice. Cheesecake. Yep. Slice right here, gorgeous. And we also have quite a nice big slice of chocolate cake. You can even see the richness of it.
Yes, we can't wait to dig in. And of course, we have our tea ready. Okay, actually, I'm going to pour you some tea. Sure. How cute is that? Show them the inside. So you can see.
This is our tea cup. And we have little roses on the end, and it's lined with this gold. Is it real?
I don't know. I'm just going to say it is. Okay, here we go. Some tea. And then I've got the milk and the sugar over there.
I don't have to do this.
Do you leave it? I'll do it for you, darling.
Okay, good. This is the tiniest glass of tea I've ever had.
Isn't it so adorable, the teacup?
Yep, perfect. We've got these gold spoons that Selena gave us. Thank you so much.
For Christmas. Thank you, Selena.
Literally perfect for this.
How many?
2 sugars. Oh, 3 sugars in that.
Oh my God.
This is a tiny cup.
Look at your cup, honey. Half a teaspoon for you, my dear.
Okay, because I...
Oh, how adorable is this? And it's got the cutest little cups.
And it has...
Look at these cups. We never get to use them.
They're adorable. I've never felt more fancier in my life.
Look, the spoon is way bigger than the cup. But how cute is this? Oh, this is so awesome. I can't believe we're episode 6 already, guys.
No,
this is 6 weeks. And are you guys happy with the news that you heard on the weekend? Mm-hmm. How restrictions are easing? Now we can we can go out for 2 hours. Oh, how is that?
It's so good.
So good, guys. I have no idea who's hopping on. Let's see who's hopping on so we can say hi. Mm-hmm. Yvonne, hi Yvonne, hi Nina, hi Cookie. Yvonne, oh yeah, you're right, apple turnover. That's what it is. It's going to be so yummy. Okay, so today we are going to be sharing. Ashley and I are readers. We love our books. Yeah. And I think I started reading when I was, in primary school, probably 12. And Ashley's pretty much started that age too, or even younger, I reckon. Ashley started reading when she was really young. So today we're going to share with you guys just 3 or 4 books that has really, really made an impact in our life and that have really helped us through some really hard times. So Ashley, how about you go and talk about your first book while I'll start digging into the dessert?
Okay, let me have a think. But we can just this. Okay, this is one of my favorite books ever, and it is called The Fantastic Flying Journey. Let me just give you a quick little flip through and then I'll tell you about it. Because this book has some of the most beautiful illustrations I've ever seen inside a book. Look at that.
Gorgeous illustrations, Ashley.
I love this book so much. Okay.
Cheesecake. I want to eat the cheesecake first, guys. Cheesecake.
So obviously one of my favorite things about this lovely book is its illustrations.
Mm-hmm.
It is so bright and colourful, and they draw you in and they encapsulate each character, each scene so beautifully.
What's the story about, sweetie?
So it is, from what I can remember, I haven't read it in a long while. It's about it's about a family, 2 boys and a pair of twin boys and the older sister, traveling around the world on a flying hot air balloon with their uncle looking for his brother, or their great uncle looking for his brother. And while they go on this on this adventure, there's a little bit of a supernatural side to it where they can actually speak to the animals. So throughout all of this is one of my favorite adventures. Throughout all of these adventures, we get to hear from the animal side of it. And I just remember every time I read this book, I cannot put it down. It's a really quite an easy read, but the first time we read it, it was Mom reading to Corey, Zayd, and I think Dad was there too. And I just remember we would stay as late as possible trying to get to the end of the chapter of this book before Mom had to put it down to put us to sleep. And I just loved some of these stories so much. Yeah.
So I remember reading this to them when they were little, tiny kitties. And because when I was little, I remember reading a story very similar to this, and I've been looking for the same book for years and years, and this was the closest thing that I've got to finding the same story. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to share it with my kids, because if I love it, most likely they would, and they love it. And every single night we just read one chapter, because there is an ending to the story, and we will always want to savor the moment, and we just have one episode at a time.
Yeah.
So this one is a real goodie. So if you guys haven't read that to your kids, definitely search it up. It's quite old, but I'm sure it's still out there. It's an amazing story to go and enjoy with your loved ones.
Yeah, I have so many treasured memories with this book. It's such a gorgeous and immersive read, and I just can't, these drawings are so simple yet so detailed and just gorgeous. I love this book so much, and it's a hardback cover with really nice thick pages, which is kind of like a small detail, but you can tell the quality, and let me see if I can find one of my favorite scenes.
Well, Ashley's doing that. I'm going to be eating all her cakes.
This, I'm going to just tell you a really quick chapter. This was the buffalo chapter. This is the chapter that sticks out in my mind the most. I remember they went to, I think it was America, and they went to see the buffaloes. And there was this crying buffalo. No. And they went to go see the buffaloes. And they were talking to the buffaloes. And he said, when the natives were here, we didn't mind when they killed us, when we were killed off, because what would happen was they said they would use all of the body parts, all of the fats, they would use the fur, they would use everything, even the bones. So they said it was almost like they were grateful that they used everything. But then when the colonizers came, this specific herd, they built a train track around the herd, and they would basically, the men would go on the train track and they would shoot the what were they called?
Who? So I was too busy eating.
They would shoot what the animals called?
Mammoths?
No, mammoths aren't real. Mammoths have been extinct since the Ice Age.
know the moose. Where were you up to? What are they called? Bisons?
Yes. The bisons.
Yes.
I know what I said.
I'm so sorry, guys.
So what they would do is buffalo.
Buffalo.
What they would do is they would here,
Hello.
let me just redo this tiny.
Hello, Auntie Taylor. Hello, Cousin Ngang. Oh, I'm just enjoying this beautiful hazelnut chocolate mousse cake thing.
Yeah. When the train started, the white humans organized so-called hunting parties. People simply sat in the carriages, and shot the buffaloes out of the window. But it was so awful that they didn't even bother to take their bodies for food or skins. They simply left them there to rot. And I just...
What is that, for sport?
Basically, they would just kill off these beautiful animals for sport. And I just remember that this specific page, this monologue, has stuck in my mind ever since then. And obviously, I love the rest of the book, but this chapter it's just so beautiful to me.
It stayed with you, huh?
Yeah.
I think hunting food to eat and for essentials, I think that's okay. But I think hunting is for the sake of hunting and just to have fun. I
find it sort of immoral almost.
Oh yes, and I think what for? Like, are you going to clean up? Like, do you take the carcass home with you and clean it up, or do you just leave the animal there and then just hope that nature would do its thing? I just don't get it. So anyway, let's not go into that because that's another topic altogether. Actually, isn't that so amazing?
This is beautiful. Where did you guys get it from?
Oh my God, eat it and I'll tell you where we get it in the end. Like we'll let you know so you know where to buy it from. This is so amazing. It's a chocolate hazelnut
mousse.
The cheesecake, the lemon cheesecake is really nice too. You try it, babe. And I filled up like 2 teacups already. These teacups are tiny. Anyway. So why do you think that book stayed with you, Ashley? How it's been like many years.
I think that book stayed with me because, again, the illustrations are so clear in my mind. I just like can't
get over it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm gonna beat you. Not beat you, but one of my favorite books. Hello, you Tony. Tony is watching. Happy 40. Oh no, she's not 40. So happy birthday, Tony.
Happy birthday.
I heard you had a wild weekend. Okay. One of my probably one of my really favorites. You guys all know. I'm going to start off with what you guys all know. I really live by is by Dale Carnegie. How to Stop Worrying and Start Living. Because I know growing up, I was a stress head. I worried about everything and everyone.
I wonder where I got from.
Don't blame me. Your dad is worried what too, okay?
Oh, so it's double.
So it's so I had siblings, I had sisters, I had a lot of dramas growing up. We struggled, I had a great childhood, but obviously there were a lot of burden that I felt that I had to carry on. And obviously that was just my story, telling myself that. So when I came upon this, probably 10 years now, by Dale Carnegie, this totally changed my life. And it's just the way that he writes is he tells stories. So he tells stories of, facts and of incidences of things that happen, and then he relates to, and then I related to how I'm feeling. So some of the really, some of the really great stories that I remember from here was about people who felt like, they thought that was their last days. It was happening through war. They were sick. They were in a financial situation where they didn't know how to get out of. That was millions of dollars. They were in a marriage that was going to work. There was a lot of things that was very relatable, and that was like 10 times worse than what I was going through. So when I was reading, I felt like, oh my goodness, they got themselves out of it. I think I'm okay. Like, so there was a lot of little good tools and tips and just stories to remind you that it doesn't matter how bad you've got it now, it could always be worse. And that doesn't sound quite positive, but it could be worse. And there is always a solution. It's just whether or not you're in the right state of mind to think of those solutions or are willing to go towards those solutions or not. So for me, this book gave me a lot of freedom. And it's just the freedom to just let things be. And, it is what it is. I think that saying really is very powerful. You think about it. It is certain things you can't change, certain people you can't change, certain traits, the world is how it is, and you can only do what you can. And this book really, really opened my eyes to just enjoying life for what it is, no matter what's happening to us, like COVID and being stuck at home and not going on a world trip. We should have gone for 6 months and are now back. This will just be us be back and getting ready for school, for work. But that didn't happen, with the whole world went into shutdown. So it could have been something that, really worried us, and we had businesses that were impacted. We could have just curled up in a ball and just cried. But we didn't do that. And I think that reading books like this really helped me deal with situations where I can't handle it. So guys, if you're in a state of your life at the moment where you're looking for a good book to read, I really suggest this. Or if you are just stuck somewhere and you want to know if there's another perspective to look at and to see how you can maneuver yourself out of a sticky situation, really, really recommend you read this, okay? So it's How to Stop Worrying and Start Living by Dale Carnegie. And he is the guy who also wrote apparently I've been saying also wrong all these years. So he also wrote, How to Influence People, How to Be Friends and Influence People. One of the best books ever. So guys, this is my to-go book.
And I think it was a few years ago when I just first quit Vietnamese school because I just felt like it wasn't doing anything for me. For the first few Saturdays, it was really early in the morning, like 6, 7 o'clock, when the boys were just about to go to school. Me and Mum would sit up there when we didn't have a bookshelf yet, so it was plain, and we would just read the stories and we'd just write notes and just talk about it.
Did you enjoy that?
Yes and no. Okay, because what happened was I am not a big, when I wake up, I'm fine. Like for the rest of the day, I'm fine. It's just the initial waking up, I really struggle at.
So no morning person, but she did really well. So what we did was we went through the book together. Ashley was just going on to her teenage years and just a lot of things she's stressed about. So I thought it might give her some insight on how she can handle stress and all that stuff. So we went through each chapter together, and then we'll just write down what we learned from it and what are the tools. So I thought, she can get whatever she get from it. And that lasted for a little bit. And I guess, life happened. And
that's because that's when I started going to the markets early. That's why we stopped.
It's my business.
Yeah. Which is, great.
It's great,
One great for another great. So.
That's a good way of putting it, Ashley.
But, yeah, I remember some of the stories so significantly, even though I can't remember every specific story, but there were 2 or 3 that are, present in my head. And I really thank you for letting us share that together. Yeah.
You're welcome, babes. There's so many more books I'm going to share with you.
Oh, that.
Your second book, babe.
Let me do.
Hi, Amy. Hi, Ty. Hi, Tina. Hello, Hao.
Okay.
Thank you for joining us tonight. We are just doing Book Readers Club.
Yeah. Something you notice for all the books that I'm going to bring up is they're all okay, you know what? Scratch that. I didn't realize what I was going to say. Anyways, this book was my favorite book for about 2-3 years, I think. It is called The Land of Stories. This is the second edition. I think it has 6 parts, and I've read all of them.
So it's a fantasy.
It's fantasy, and it's written by Chris Colfer. If you don't know who he is, he plays Kurt Hummel on Glee.
Oh, I have no idea what that is.
This guy.
Oh, still no idea.
Okay,
I didn't watch Glee.
I love Glee. Anyways, this series is one of my best friends now, Bianca. This is one of the big things we connected on because we were both big readers when we were in grade 4. So one of the first things we did, we were like, okay, we'll go into the fantasy section, we'll go into the library, and we'll just pick whatever book we want. And we picked this one. We're like, okay, we'll finish the series together, and we did.
Wow.
I think we went up to book 5 because book 6 it still hasn't fully released in Australia. But and this story is about 2 twins, struggling twins. Their mum works 24/7 as a nurse, and they're in the middle of moving into a smaller house. And they are both 12 or 13, right, getting to the teenage years. So the brother's a little bit more distant from her sister, and her sister's trying to figure out everything with her mum, growing up being a girl, but they've always had a love for each other. And they, beside the mum, the only family that they know of is their grandma, and they love their grandma. But it's been a few years since they've last seen her, and they don't know why. And basically what happens is the grandma ended up being the fairy godmother from another dimension. It was crazy.
That was unexpected.
I know. And what happened was they weren't supposed to know this, but they
Oops, I'm making a mess, sorry.
One of the storybooks that she gave them when they were younger, it ended up being a magic portal, and they ended up being able to transfer to that world. And just each book is a different adventure. But this is the second one. This is my favorite book. It is basically, each one is basically a twist on all of the, is a twist on all of the fairy tales. So this series is based around the world of fairy tales and how they all interconnected. So the first one was about the evil queen. Yes. The first one was about Snow White's evil queen and how she became evil. And basically there was a wish if you collected all of her mirror parts, because in this universe, she got trapped in the mirror and she got split up into pieces.
Oh, the evil
witch.
Queen, yeah.
Evil queen. And they had to find her, and it was such a heartbreaking story, because in the end, she ended up being with who she loved. Because in this story, the guy in the mirror used to be the one that she loved. That's why she used to ask, why am I the fairest of them all? Because she just wanted something to say that she still loved him, that he still loved her. And in the end, he ended up in the mirror, but when she got transferred in the mirror, he vanished, and she lost all of her memories. So she's back to 18-year-old love-struck Emily, and she forever calls out his name.
Oh, wow.
And that just broke my heart. That was the first book.
So this is a take on, a current fairy tales.
Yep. And so the second one is about Maleficent.
So we love Maleficent.
I love Maleficent. I love her as a villain. I think she's one of my... I think fairy tales have a weird thing of making their villains more interesting than the protagonists. Like, I have no idea about Sleeping Beauty, but Maleficent I love. And this one, it has Maleficent, it has Ursula, it has the Snow Witch, it has James and the Giant Beanstalk.
The Giant?
James and the Giant Beanstalk, isn't it?
Is it Jack?
Jack and the Giant Beanstalk, I meant.
She changed his name.
I'm sorry. And it was just, this is, I think, one of the first books I've ever cried my eyes out to. Cried my eyes out.
So it's amazing. So they took the original stories and they built layers into their character and how they became who they were in the story that we normally get read to. So see, everyone just needs love. They just want to know that they're enough.
Yeah, and I the reason why I enjoy these stories so much is because even now, my favorite things is when there's like a twist on a certain, what's it called? An interpretation of an ideal. And fairy tales, I love fairy tales. I think they're in my core. I want to have that. I want to have that fairy tale world. But then when I read things like this, I say, oh, I can take it into my own hands. I can make it to be whatever I want. And I think that just really influenced who I am. And on a bigger scale, all these characters have resonated with me so much. I like the main protagonist, Alex. She is the older one, and she's gifted with the magical powers, so she has this responsibility on her back. And basically what ends up happening is the grandmother passes. So now she has to take up the role as the queen. The mediator. Not the mediator. She's just expected to be there all the time because that's what the fairy godmother does. But she's still a child. It's a full-time job. She's still a child, and she's still working out things within herself, and there's small love things, and the side characters are developed so beautifully. It's Goldilocks, Red Riding Hood, and Prince and the Frog. Nice. And what happened was the prince, he ended up staying a frog, and Red Riding Hood, and Jack and the Beanstalk. Okay, let me explain this really quick. So in this world, when they were younger, Goldilocks and Red Riding Hood were friends, and Jack just moved in after he climbed the beanstalk. And then what happened was both of them fell for Jack. Red Riding Hood and Goldilocks fell for Jack. Oh no. So Red Riding Hood wrote a note saying, "Meet me here." And the Meet Me Here place ended up being the house that Goldilocks went to for the three bears. Yeah. And in this story, it almost ended up killing her. So she became a master swordsman. Oh. Whereas Red Riding Hood never had her story. So she ended up, in her story, she basically ended up eating all of the desserts, and she had to go back home. Oh, okay. But like us. Yes. But she had amazing leadership skills, but she was very conceited because, she's the queen ever since she was a child. So Red Riding Hood is the queen? In this story. She was elected the queen. Sorry guys, I'm going to have to use my hands. This is just unbelievably hard to eat with a spoon. And then we see, and then they all come together, and we see Jack and Goldilocks love brew, and they end up having a child together. And it's so twisted. And Little Red Riding Hood has always been obviously jealous of Jack, and jealous of Goldilocks and fallen for Jack. But slowly she ends up falling in love with the Prince and the Frog, the prince from Princess and the Frog, and she's very up on looks. Like she's very pretentious. Yes, but she has a house full of just her jewelry. Okay. So it was a really big thing for her. She likes bling bling. Yeah. And so I think that was a really big thing of don't judge a book by its cover, but almost there's more to them than that. It's deeper than that. And this book just... You know what? You all have your skills and you all have your roles. Yeah. Actually, Dad just said it perfectly. Yeah. And again, this is such an easy read. I know it looks kind of thick, but the font is just huge. But what age is it suitable for, Ashley? I read it when I was in year 4. That was 5 years ago. I'm 14. I was 9. I think 8 to 12. It gets a bit easy when it's past that, and the story seems a little bit not predictable, but quite not predictable. That's not predictable. I would never guess that Goldilocks or Red Riding Hood was going after the same dude. But the thing is, this is between 6 books, so you slowly get that. And it just has beautiful twists and turns. And all I have is this front cover, but this book lets you imagine a universe in your head, and both the real life and the
and the fantasy.
Because they do go back to real life, and their mum finds a boyfriend, and them two have to deal with what if he's going to hurt her again, or if he leaves her like dad does, and also the oh my god, mom's struggling hard, she works 24/7, I'm not doing anything, I can't do anything, while also balancing that I'm a teenager, let me do whatever I want. And I think
does that sound familiar, guys?
I think it's just a beautiful balance of those
elements.
Yeah, you can see how much I've read this book through these cracks in the spine.
Well, that is great, Ashley. That is so detailed. We can see the passion that comes out when you're talking about it. So you better eat up, because while you're talking, I've just been eating up. This apple turnover is amazing. Try it. How's your drink? This is so cute, guys. If you guys have pretty teapots, teacups, use it, because it does make the tea taste nicer. Looks, you know, it does matters. Hi, Fanny. Hello, everyone who's on here. Thank you so much for joining us. I kind of feel sad because soon, I say it's going to be over in 3 weeks. Mr. Dan Andrews is going to let us out of our house because we've been so good. And then that's it. That is the end of ISO for us, Ashley. But you know what? I think that we have been so lucky that we got to be locked up with our families and actually use this time to really spend quality time together.
Yep.
And I've learned so much from this little girl who's no longer little. She's bigger than me now. That is incredible, that what your kids can teach you. So I think that, remember, guys, if you've got teenagers at home, if you've got anyone, I learned from Zane, and he's 9 years old, and that little kid has so much, so many ideas and advice, and sometimes it's just refreshing to hear from them, refreshing to hear new ideas and just how they think. So guys, don't dismiss. Your kids can teach you so much. My turn. My second book will have to be Tuesdays with Maury. Okay, guys.
I heard amazing things about this book. Dad's been wanting me to read it for
Tuesdays with Maury is a movie as well. So if you guys can't be bothered reading, a movie is not as good because I think reading is always so much more personal.
Yeah.
But it's by Mitch Albom and it's a true story. Okay, and it's just, oh my God, it's about this. How old is he? In his 80s, 60s? I can't remember how old he is, but he's an older gentleman who's a professor, he's a teacher, and he's just one of those amazing individuals that go out there and really live. And in here, it just tells you his experience, and he's just going through his journey, and he ends up having ALS. So it's a degenerative disease where you start losing your motor abilities slowly. So it really does become challenging towards if you're someone who is able and suddenly slowly that gets taken away from you, I don't know what kind of person you will become. So this story just goes through his journey and his insights on what love is about, what family is about, just life in general. And this whole book just teaches you to just live life the way you want to live it, under your terms. You can dance in the rain if you want to, and you don't have to be a good dancer. And it's a very short book, very easily written, very easy to read. But man, it hits the spot. And it's and I think that is something that you can read with anyone can read, and it's for me it's so inspiring because it just shows you that doesn't matter what life throws at you. You can choose to be the type of person that can either deal with it gracefully in the spirit of what you have and the person that you are, or you can curl up and die before you really die. So he chose to live, and every single moment he lived. And then when you read the story, it really captures the essence of what courage and resilience and love really means. So guys, this book is just amazing. It might bring you to tears a little bit, but that's okay, because that's what it's about. Maury teaches you to cry. That's okay to cry. And and you guys would have heard more now than before about doing your own eulogy where, you would want your friends and families to really talk nicely about you when you're here, not when you died and you can't hear it. I heard his first concept from this book because they did that with him. They threw him a party before he passed so that he can, he can really hear from the people who love him. And that was such a beautiful, beautiful part of the story. And so, guys, Tuesdays with Maury, I don't want to tell you too much, just that so you can go in and you can experience, have an adventure, and just have a glimpse of how amazing this man was. So Tuesdays with Maury is my recommendation for anyone out there who wants a little bit of happiness in their life. Okay, guys, I want to say, oh my God, how's your hay fever, guys? Here it comes.
Let's see.
Excuse me. Thank goodness you guys are protected by a screen. But yes, that is my beautiful book. So if you guys have any books that you're reading or have read that totally changed your life, please share with us. Write, comment, and I am always looking out for a good book.
Yeah.
Like, I think I'm just finished Inner Engineering from Sadhguru, which is about inner happiness and the yogi and the yoga and us. And, it's some of the concepts were way over my head, but I did really appreciate another perspective on what happiness and the science of happiness is all about. And my next book that I've got on my waiting list is The Answer by John Assaraf. And that's going to be so interesting. It talks about the law of attraction, which I've heard some great things about that. But there are so many more books out there that is incredibly inspiring and just fun to read. So actually that takes you on to your last book. Well, you got 4 books, but I don't know.
One and then me.
Okay. So, but you got to make it quick, man. You got to make it quick.
Okay. I'll see if I can fit both of them in one.
Okay.
So, this book is, I think, my favorite book of all time.
Emma. Wow, that's a big say, guys. That's a big call for Ashley.
If you can look at this book right now, it is quite used,
torn
sorry.
Up. Just a take all over you.
Oh, sorry. But and I think avid book readers will want to kill me if they saw the condition of this book right now. But this is The Boxcar Children by, who's it by?
It's really
by Gertrude Chandler Warner. It is a part of like 150 book series, which I didn't even know. But Mum used to read this to us when we were tiny. Like,
so they can appreciate that they have a house to live in, because these kids did not.
And if you can see, the font is actually humongous. I think like I was rereading. I was rereading this like a year ago or something, and I read it in like 50 minutes.
Yes.
It is such an easy read.
So tell us, why does this book appeal to you so much, Ashley?
I've always had a I always adored the bond between siblings, because obviously I have 2 little brothers, but this is simply about 4 kids trying to survive and trying to do the best as they can with what they have.
Their parents died, right?
Yeah, their parents, from what I remember, their parents passed away, and from the very beginning of the book, we see that they are on the run, and they find this little box car, and they try to make it their home as much as possible. And it's really just simple things, like there's a whole chapter of them making a fire, of the oldest boy going down to work to mow the lawn to get some turnips for the sister to make a soup. And they found like a dog, playing with the dog, making a small pool. But I just thought that this book, it entrances me so much. I can't even tell you properly why, because it's so simple, and each chapter is just so it's just so simply written, but in a way where you can really imagine it happen to you. Like, I can see Henry working on picking the cherry trees right next to me. And I just love how this book really shows resilience as well as just happiness. I just like
simple
reading.
joys.
I just like reading about little kids being happy and playing, and I think it's a really great distraction from the world.
Yes,
So
I agree.
I think anyone of any age can read this. Again, it might be a bit easy, but it's just a really nice, simple read, and
Beautiful.
um,
I enjoyed reading that with them. I think it reminds you of the simple things that makes us happy, you know, where it's just survival, where we just try to find a nice place to sleep, a warm place to sleep. Remember what they got caught in the rain, and so it was just trying to have somewhere dry, and then just having enough utensils to cook with. They had to look for those stuff, and they're like tiny, like they're little kids.
And the oldest one, I believe, was 15, and the youngest was 5.
Yeah.
And I remember one of my favorite scenes where he's like, "Look, it's a mug," and I remember how excited
they
was
were
of this little tiny teacup, and it was like this, but it had some chips in it, had some cracks, but he was so proud of it, and I could just imagine how bright his smile was, and that stuck with me.
That really made you happy, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, your last book.
Another one of
Roald Dahl. Whose favorite?
I love Roald Dahl.
Oh my goodness, what a champion he was.
Roald Dahl is the first person who made me want to read on my own. Because I remember when I was really little, I had a problem with reading. Like in grade 1, I think. I remember I got a really bad report for reading. And one of my uncles, I think for Christmas, bought me a big thing of Roald Dahl books. And I was like, what the? And the first one I picked up wasn't this one, it was the Twits.
Oh, yes.
And
we love the Twits.
And I read the Twits, and I just got sucked into his words. So I read all of his books. But this one has to be my favorite. Danny, the Champion of the World.
Woohoo!
This one is not as popular as Chocolate Factory or Witches
or
Matilda, which I love dearly. But this one has to be my favorite.
Yes.
It's a really simple concept. A boy and his
dad
go out and poach some birds, which sounds peasants, which sounds illegal, shady, which it is. It certainly is, and the book tells you that. But it's just about the love between a father and his son. And I think reading that, going through that, I just adored it so much. And the way Roald Dahl writes his books, I think it is beautiful because, again, they are so simple. Like, I read this book when I was like 8, 9, maybe. And it just, I don't know,
I read this book for them like a few times before they started reading it. And it was all about going on the hunt and not getting caught. And it was all about getting the peasant and cooking it up and just really people who really needed it, like they were struggling. You know, they didn't have a lot of money. They were making ends meet. And there was these birds that's just in the backyard that they couldn't touch because obviously it's on someone else's property. And again, the owner of this property was just hunting these birds for sport. And of course, they didn't need it for food. It was just sport. And these guys out there, they get it for food, and that's why they poach them, is for survival and to eat. And I think that when you read the stories where there is the underdog and then there's the bad people, you kind of feel like you're in this. You get thrown into the adventure, and I think that's why we love these stories, because there is a clear evil and there's a clear good, and you kind of relate and you know which team you're batting for. Yeah. Where sometimes now some of the books are a little bit politically correct. I don't know, but it's just there's sometimes treading very lightly on certain issues, so you don't feel the full brunt of what it really is about. So I think these books, even though they're like a century old and the story is never gets bored. I can read this again and still get thrown into Danny's world again and experience all that they experience. So, And I guess I'm really grateful because my kids are now reading very similar books and they're enjoying, they're going through the same journey. And they're reading much more than we were at their age, for sure, and better content books. I used to read, I don't know, do you guys remember Meals and Booze? You know, all those romantic stories.
Oh, trust me, I read so much trashy romantic stories.
Yeah, so you know, so it's really good to open the world up to so much more than what reality is, because sometimes reality sucks, and you just gotta, you know, go somewhere where things are colourful, where life is big, where you know you can be anything and anyone you want to be. So with that, I'm gonna introduce you to my very last book, which is called The Richest Man in Babylon. I have to say, it too is a very quick, easy book. Actually, another one I've had is very, very old, but I have given that to someone to read, and I forgot who I gave it to, and I have no idea where it is. So I bought myself a new one because I could not live without this book. I've read it like 100 times, I think, and it is all about how to be better with your money. And it's all about stories, but it's written in stories. So, you know, in the olden times in Babylon, you know, how you have this rich megastar, I was gonna say. And it just teaches you the very simple principles of what you want to do with your money, and you know what to do when a family asks to borrow, who to invest it with, how much you should save, and it's all in here, but it's written like so long ago and it's still valid to today. So if you guys want to touch on money matters and you want to have a bit of fun in terms of storytelling, this book is definitely a book that you should read. And it's so fun. It's so much fun. I think there's nothing more fun in learning than through stories, you know, and I think that's why Ashley and I love it so much, because we get to immerse and we get to learn, whether it's about emotions or about feelings or about real practical stuff like tools that we can use in a daily life. I think books are the way to go. They are your teachers.
Yeah.
It's literally like, his name is George. I never even read the author's name. George Clason? Like literally he is teaching you his experiences. Like, you know, so when you read their book, it's them sharing their experience. So you just imagine these are all your teachers, you know. So I know, like, these three is the books that I think make me who I am today. You know, so if you guys share with us your three have to. This is the books that when the fire is, your house is burning, you go and you go. But of course, you know, it's all online these days. But you know, we love readers. We still love books. Like, I can't read Kindle or any of those.
I've read quite a handful of online books.
So for me, I find that either I go audio online or I actually read from real books. I think for me that's a little bit more my thing, but you know, everyone has their own thing.
See,
which type of tea, Ashley?
Yes, please. My problem with audiobooks is if someone is reading to me, I want to talk to them about the book, because I'm like, oh my god, that just happened, and I want a reaction. But obviously, it's audio, so they just keep on going.
Reading.
Or sometimes,
you can't stop. That's right.
Yeah. Or sometimes I try to like read with them, and I'm like, you're going so slow, because we are quite quick readers, like skim readers,
speed readers. Yes.
And so sometimes when it's like, Ali screamed, and I'm like, I'm already up to the next paragraph. I know Ali screamed.
But you know, like you said, you showed me, you can 2x it or 1x it or whatever it is, and then they can speed it up. How are you finding the cakes?
Oh,
what's your favorite?
Probably the chocolate mousse.
Which one? This one, yeah, the chocolate mousse. I actually like the apple turnover. That's probably my favorite. And the chocolate cake here, the chocolate mud is really nice. Guys, I'll tell you, you can find all these cakes at Coles.
Our
in the
favorite.
dessert, in the fridge department, okay? So today we wanted to get some cakes, but of course around our area there's no bakeries. The only one is bonbons, and we always have bonbons, and there wasn't even a lot for us to choose from except for big cakes. We didn't want big cakes, so we thought we gave Coles a go, and I think the cakes is not bad. They actually
it's
have
a lot better than I thought.
Yeah, so I think this is really, we tried all. The apple turnover, the mousse is beautiful. The lemon cheesecake is not bad. I think the custard peripherals, is that how you guys call it? Not good. I think it's a bit dry. Have you tried it?
I'm not into custard.
Oh, okay, so that's not good for you. But the chocolate cake is beautiful with the whipped cream. Gorgeous, gorgeous.
Ooh.
So Ashley and I are going to be coming up with some really amazing fun stuff for you guys in the next few weeks leading to the finale of our show. So on the last show, which is 3 weeks from now, we are going to be having some great surprises on here where we're going to be giving prizes.
We're going to be giving prizes away, so make sure to tune in for that.
Make sure you tune in. So we're going to be giving prizes. You don't know what it is. It could be anything. It could be stuff that we've showed you during the show. Could be whatever that is. It's that we feel like it. So guys, stay tuned. Next week we are going to be doing some unwrapping, right? If we do get delivery sometime, we're thinking that unwrapping will be fun because we know that during this time we're in ISO, a lot of us have gone online shopping and we bought a few things that fit or didn't fit. So we're gonna do that with you guys and see what we ordered actually turned out the way we thought it would. Yeah. So let's hope that by next week we're gonna get some few orders for you to do some unwrapping with you guys, and then perhaps we'll figure out what else we need to eat because it's so nice to sit here to actually enjoy and to really share with you guys what we do together during ISO, which keeping us sane.
Yeah.
Keeping us really sane. And I think, books are such a great way for us to learn from, other great people, but also to learn about ourselves because I think it's really just, we all need the same thing. We go through the same experiences. It's just whether or not more that's exactly how we interpret it. So, and I think that books really help us see another perspective.
Yeah.
So I think that's about it. Yeah, Ashley, is that a wrap? Is there anything else that you want to share?
There are a billion of other books that I've read that I wish I could show you guys, but I think, do you want to say the books one more time?
Yes, so we're going to put in the link, guys, to the books that we've read.
Right, just for one more time, mine are...
You go.
The Fantastic Flying Journey, The Great Adventure in Natural History by Gerald Durrell, illustrated by Graham Percy.
So if you guys have little ones, get this book for them and read for them. I mean, because it's got great facts about animals and historical stuff, and it's just adventure, it's just everything into one. So there's relationship building, there's a lot of things. And I think
illustrations.
I actually can't get over the illustrations. So, and then what else?
The Land of Stories series by Chris Colfer. This is the second one, my favorite.
Yes.
Called the Enchantress.
Yes.
Enchantress Returns.
Well done.
Boxcar Children. My Boxcar Children by Gertrude Chandler Warner and Danny the Champion of the World by
Roald Dahl. And my 3 is not as exciting as Ashley, but just as powerful, I reckon. So Tuesdays is More by Mitch Albom. Then we've got How to Stop Worrying and Start Living by Dale Carnegie. And George Clayton, The Richest Man in Babylon. So guys, those are my 3 favorites and to go to books. That if you guys want to check out some, please go to that one. And our desserts, let's go. Ashley's favorite,
chocolate hazelnut mousse with lemon cheesecake and chocolate custard puff.
Yep.
Puff.
Apple turnover.
And I believe this is a mud cake, but I'm not sure.
It is a mud cake.
Chocolate mud cake with whipped cream and
cherry topping. Jam topping.
Jam topping.
Some kind of topping. Any topping is better than no topping. So okay, this is so good. And last cup of tea, and look, we actually finish our tea. So perfect. These cups are so light, guys. They are so light. I didn't end up having any milk, but here it is, guys. So because we miss high tea so much and we miss going out to fancy restaurants, so we thought,
just bring it home.
let's recreate some. We feel like we're somewhere else. We look like we're somewhere else, Ashley.
I love these colors. If you guys can't, I'm so obsessed with the colors in this room right now.
So we've got our velvety couch, which feels really nice, and it's like a green
it's like
color,
a blue, really deep, rich velvet green blue color.
And then we've got plants all around the room because I think what ISO really made me do was just to get really fanatic with plants.
I think I've noticed that with everyone because all my friends are like, I just bought a new plant. And I look at their room and I'm like, your room is green. It's green now. I don't see you, I see plants. And I feel like that is what has happened with our house as well.
Because I think it's about, because we're stuck at home, you need some kind of growth or nature or some kind of natural surrounding that makes you feel human.
Yeah.
And I think that's, this whole ISO has really made me realize how connected we are to each other and that, we can't live alone. We can't live by ourselves because we end up dying, I think.
Yeah.
So
loneliness kills.
Yeah,
it's
and
true.
the plants is actually it gives you that life.
And it's just beautiful to watch them grow. And I think about plants is like you did it. Like
exactly.
It's yours.
It's like your child, Ashley. Do you know that Ashley fell down the stairs today?
Yeah, we were going on a bike ride and Mum and Dad was, go back and grab some bags because we're going to go shopping. And I ran up the stairs, I grabbed the bag, I put everything down and I ran back down the stairs. If you don't know, our stairs are made out of carpet and I was wearing very slippery socks. And what happened was I from the middle of the stairs, I fell all the way down really fast and my leg was bent weird and I was leaning on it. The sound that came out of my mouth, I didn't even know I could make. It was like a screech and a yell and I thought I was going to die. And then Mom came over and I thought I was going to cry. I didn't start crying and then Dad came in and I started laughing. It's like I wanted to get over the pain, hurry up. And it was a weird time.
Well, all I did was I was in the kitchen and heard this thump, 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 really loud, and I heard Ashley screaming. I'm like, oh my god, the horrible screech that you never ever want to hear anyone and I'm like, oh my god, did she tumble down the stairs? I expected that from Maya or maybe Zane even, for Ashley. And then when I came there, I knew that she slipped, so thank God, but I thought she might have broken her legs or something like that, but she didn't cry, so it wasn't as bad as I thought, but we did notice she would sprained her ankle. I think it's still a bit tender now. Let's hope that it's still good. If not, then we'll have to take to the doctors, and we know that during this time is not a good time to go to the doctors. So let's hope that this is going to be, your leg's going to be okay for tomorrow. But yes, be careful, guys, when you have stairs. Please walk down the stairs.
I was rushing.
She is rushing. She was scared that they're going to leave her.
I was not scared they were going to leave. I was just like, just better be quick. Just in and out. And then that happened. I was so excited to go bike ride today. If you guys knew, in Melbourne, it was so sunny. It was beautiful today. And then I had this and a nice top on. I was like, well, I'm going to feel great. And I had my hair done in a nice bun. And I just fell down the stairs. And I was like, great.
And I could tell she really wanted to go. I have to drive her, but she didn't want to take on the offer. I just wonder why.
I don't think I would. Enough driver for that. I think I would rather bike there.
Anyway, so let's cheers one last time and we let our lovely viewers go because they have been amazing supporting us. So guys, see you guys next Monday where we are going to be unwrapping some stuff that we ordered and talking you two about things that are important to us and might not necessarily important to you.
But they are important to us. So we are going to ramble on as we did today. I don't think you guys understand. Do not, if you are ever talking to us and you see us at the grocery store, just try to talk about the weather. Don't open anything or else we will sit here and talk for literally an hour.
Oh, it's lovely, isn't it, Ashley? Quite lovely. Anyway, guys, I hope you guys have an amazing week. Actually, you ran out of your tea.
I drank. Oh, no, I'm
not
so full right now. I'm so glad you guys can't see what's happening.
That's why we're wearing robes today. We thought, we would look different. and same. So we will see you guys next week. So whatever you guys have on, I hope you guys have a successful one. And if you guys have I been like looking at the screen or?
I have definitely been looking at the screen of the camera. I'm
so sorry. We must look like we're ignoring everyone.
Yeah, because I've been looking down here the whole time, and I now just realized that
we should be looking like that. Okay. Anyway, better late than never, I say. At the end of the show, literally. So, guys, we'll see you next week for another episode of
I Sew with Beck and
Ash for episode 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10.
That's perfect.
That's so perfect. So, guys, we're going to be excited. We're going to be working and trying to organize our last finale to make it as exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Woo! We're giving prizes. It's going to be amazing. Anyway, stay tuned, guys, for next week. But remember, you got to stay tuned for next week and to the end for the prizes to come your way.
Yeah.
Yes?
Okay.
Alrighty. Are you right, Ashley? Are we still on? Are we still on live?
I didn't end it. Oh, God, that hurt.
Oh, did you? Okay. All right, guys. Bye again.